This is Liz Crokin. She's a QAnoner, and some of the shit that she says is so ridiculous. It's wrapped back around to being funny again. Just listen to her conversation with Benny Johnson here, and I'll talk about more of the stuff she said in the past in a minute.
Project Monarch, which was a CIA mind control program, was real, right? So he talked about CIA mind control as well, but he also talked about predictive programming. And what the deep state does is that the deep state, the members of the cabal, whatever you want to call them, because they're Satanists, and this isn't what I believe, but this is what they believe.
It's what you believe about what they believe. And who the fuck is they? Are you kidding me? The cabal, the deep state. Who the fuck is it? Tell me who it is. Where are they? Are they in the room with us right now, Liz? There is no deep state. People like this are delusional to a degree that I can't even touch. Look, there are some things in government that are universally believed by the left and the right. Things that we're not going to reverse anytime soon. Like the idea that medical insurance should be private the way that it is. The left is not completely unified behind that. Hasn't been ever, I don't think, not in a long time at least. The idea that we should consistently build up the military, that we should continue adding to the budget, those types of things. And it's mostly the politicians that I'm talking about, not necessarily people. But there isn't like a unified secret group that's behind the politicians that meet in smoke-filled back rooms and plan out what the politicians are supposed to say and do and believe. That's what she means when she says cabal. A secret group of people pulling strings like puppet masters, namely George Soros. It's nonsense. It's always been nonsense. The fact that there are some things that just aren't in the Overton window right now, like health insurance and the military being built up more and more, is not the result of a deep state. It's just those things are disconnected from each other. There is no group sitting behind the scenes trying to tell people to do this or that. It's just nonsense, all of it, all the way down. Oh yeah, and they're not all Satanists either. What?
I believe, but this is what they believe. They believe in truth in plain sight, and they believe that
truth in plain sight.
They have to announce their plans before they commit them. And even if it's just through TV shows or their art or music, they believe that that's what they have to do.
This is a full-blown QAnon conspiracy we'll get into in a second.
So if you look at a show like The Simpsons, people are like, oh my gosh, how did The Simpsons predict so much stuff? And it's like, well, no, actually, that's part of their predictive programming. They are announcing their plans in advance. And
oh my God, it's so stupid, dude. Predictive programming is a software engineering term. Do you know a programmer in your life that used that term? Is that why that popped in your head just now? What does predictive programming mean to Liz Crokin, you think? Anything? The Simpsons has, quote-unquote, predicted stuff consistently because, A, they've been running since 1983 or something, right? The longest time. They're bound to hit subjects that are going to happen. Trump has been talking about running for the presidency since the 90s, I believe. And he really ramped up in the 2000s, and then he slowed down, and then 2016, he ramped up again. The Simpsons did something showing Trump winning the election because he had been talking about it for so long. This wasn't like a future sight, whatever the fuck you think it was. So that's the first thing. It's that the Simpsons have been running forever. And the second thing is that the things that fit, quote unquote, are just vague storylines that don't necessarily mean anything, that don't really apply to anything. But people like Liz Crokin come in after the fact and try to warp it and, stick it into this little box and make it out like they've predicted all this stuff. So I guess she's saying that the writers on The Simpsons are part of the cabal, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Believe that if they announce them through pop culture and people accept that, then that's a ritual for them and they can justify it that way.
I don't know where she got the idea that some random group out there of Satanists can't do anything unless they say they're going to do it. Like, for example, getting on TV and saying, we eat babies or something. Or like me saying, oh yeah, I eat babies. I'm an atheist. As an atheist, I eat babies. Because it's a trope. It's a joke, a troll. Nobody's actually out here eating babies. But she believes when people make that joke, they're validating their ability to do it. It is delusion all the way down with this person. She used to be a reporter, a journalist, like a legit journalist. And then she went off into QAnon land and got lost there. Here's another clip from her. This one is from 2022. It's mid-August. This is right when COVID was, I don't know, this is like a year and a half into COVID.
The white hat's tainted.
I'm sorry, let me lead in here. White hats are QAnon speak for the good guys in the military who are secretly operating behind the scenes to like do a military coup against the president or some other stupid. Okay?
The white hat's tainted the elite's adrenochrome supply with the coronavirus. And that's why so many members of the elites are getting the coronavirus, if indeed they do have the coronavirus.
I'm surprised she even accepts as real.
So adrenochrome is a drug that the elites love.
It's just nonsense, dude.
It comes from children. The drug is extracted from the pituitary gland of tortured children.
No. It is disgusting that somebody would come up with this. This is not happening. And somebody sat there and thought this shit up. This is vile, honestly. And this is calling back to an old anti-Semitic trope, I guess you will. In 1902, a document was released in newspapers across Tsarist Russia. It was called the Protocols of the Meetings of the Learned Elders of Zion or something. Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And it was supposed to be recordings of minutes at meetings of the leaders of the Jewish community, which of course lead the world, right, behind the scenes. And they talk about their plan to take over like the world and to eat babies and all this other ridiculous nonsense. And they claimed they found it on a dead Jewish soldier all the way back, 100 plus years ago. That claim in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion about them eating babies, that claim had already existed for a while, but Protocols kind of fortified it, set it in stone. Previously, there were accusations that they were putting babies in matzo ball soup or something like that, like for hundreds of years previously. And when QAnon came on the scene, they started applying that claim to anybody that they didn't like, not just Jews. Atheists, or just any part of they, quote unquote, whoever they is. In a very real sense, QAnon is just a rebranded Nazi death cult, actually. They are just recycling all the same conspiracy theories as the Nazi party. So this whole bit about adrenochrome, them, drinking adrenochrome or whatever, that's just not true. You can take adrenochrome and it doesn't do anything for you. It literally it does nothing. It's not that hard to get because people use it in scientific, they study it. Scientific studies and all of that. People have consumed it and they say at best it gives them a mild headache. Adrenochrome is just adrenaline that has been spent, that your body has used and has attached oxygen molecules to it. It's oxidized adrenaline to make it inert. When you jump out of a plane, you're skydiving, adrenaline shoots through your body and you get like this massive rush. And then the rush starts to calm and go away because the body is oxidizing the adrenaline. It's like claiming that people are eating the ash of weed and getting high from it. It's dumb as dog shit.
Extracted from the pituitary gland of tortured children. It's sold on the black market.
No, it isn't.
It's the drug of the elites. It's their favorite drug. It is beyond evil. It's demonic. It is so sick.
You know what's really sick? People that sit around thinking about how this is extracted fictitiously. Again, this is not happening. You don't have to torture kids or whatever to get it. Who the came up with that? And why? That is like really, really disturbing and vile, and they should be on a watch list if they're not already, right?
So there is a theory that the white hats tainted their adrenochrome supply with the coronavirus.
Dude, I love how no, there isn't. I don't know. Is this theory from you, Liz? I love how she selectively chooses which theories, quote unquote, she's going to accept. This isn't a theory. This is at best a hypothesis. But does she put the same amount of weight on this as she would on evolution, for example? Of course not. She thinks it's just a theory, quote unquote, right? Oh my God, dude. And even more disturbingly than that, she knows some real influential people. She went to Mar-a-Lago and spoke at Mar-a-Lago. This is her there. Leading up to this moment, this was late December 2022, and Balenciaga had just released an ad or something, I don't remember, that had papers in the corner of the ad that were referencing, they had text on them that referenced entertainment of, pictures that people would look at of children. I'm just trying to say this in a monetizer-friendly way. And Balenciaga got like a bunch of pushback for it, as they should have. But she turned it into this big, it's a conspiracy. The elites are signaling to each other. Like, why the fuck would they do that through an ad? Don't they have a phone?
And then we had Balenciaga come out. And I know most of you are probably aware that Balenciaga was exploiting children in their ads.
No, that wasn't happening. There was an ad with a document that pointed to adult entertainment or whatever. It's just delusion all the way down. It's delusion compounded by exaggeration, compounded by even more delusion under that.
But it's also important to note that some of the top people working at Balenciaga,
You gonna name them?
were also openly promoting cannibalism,
Oh, please, dude.
satanic ritualistic abuse.
What are we in 1983? Talking about satanic ritual abuse? Get a grip on reality, Liz. My God.
Blood rituals, child abuse. I mean, some of the worst stuff you've ever seen. Now, when Pizzagate came out in 2016, a lot of associates of the Clintons shared very similar content on their social media pages.
It is so fucking stupid, dude. When Pizzagate came out in 2016, I don't know if you guys were around to see this so long ago, who knows, but I think in 2016 or 2017, there's a predecessor to QAnon, because QAnon came on the scene 2017. Before QAnon actually existed as a group, there was this big conspiracy by MAGA nutcases about this pizza parlor, Comet Pizza and Ping Pong or whatever it is, that politicians commonly had dinner at in DC and talked to each other at it or whatever. And Hillary's emails, all those 30,000 emails that went missing, quote unquote, were deleted or whatever. Yeah, those were released. I don't know if you guys realize that. Clinton's emails are public. They have been public for a very long time. Within months of Trump saying, Russia, if you're listening, I would love to see those emails. Russia hacked the email systems and released them. They did it through a spear phishing attack, is what it's called, where it's complicated. They set up a website, looks like apple.com, looks identical to it. And they send an email that looks like it's from apple.com and says, sign in here to resolve this thing or that thing or whatever. So they click the link in the email, they go to their website, they enter their username and password, they hit go, and it redirects them to Apple. So they're like, oh, well, it just must not have taken my password. So you enter it again, and you see nothing on the back end of Apple. But now the hackers have your username and password. And that's a phishing attack. And it's spear phishing because they're targeting specific people. They targeted Anthony Podesta. Yeah, it was Anthony Podesta, not John Podesta, right? His brother. Anyway, whichever was Hillary's campaign manager. They targeted him specifically with these emails, and he fell for it. Guccifer 2.0, a Russian hacker, worked with Roger Stone to release the emails through WikiLeaks. This is all completely verified. Roger Stone served time for this. This is not conspiracy theory. This is what happened. You can look this up anywhere. And in those emails, Hillary's emails, they talked about Comet Pizza and Ping Pong, or whatever it's called. And it led to the group of, well, I guess you'd call it the predecessor to QAnon, just this group of little nutcases believing that this company had a basement in it, and they were like trafficking children in there. And they start passing around images of the traffickers and their children. And it was literally just the staff of this, like the waiters there, and the children that, like, they're kids, like they're biological kids. These nutcases take pictures of them just walking around outside with their children and claim that they're like abducting this kid or whatever. It got to a point where some dude shows up with a gun and forces his way at gunpoint into this little pizza and ping pong place and like searches it high and low. Turns out they don't even have a basement. They're not trafficking anything. It's a fucking restaurant. And those people who, I don't think anybody died that day because the dude was just looking for traffickers. I could be wrong. He's arrested. And the people that encouraged that still believe it. QAnoners still believe that to this day. Pizzagate. It's fucking insane.
A lot of associates of the Clintons shared very similar content on their social media pages. And I encourage you to look into John and to Tony Podesta's art. Tony.
Oh my God, dude, she is insane. It is so entertaining, though, to listen to like some of the crazy shit that she says. Check this one out. This is with Kirk Cameron.
I worked in Hollywood as well, not as an actor or actress, as a journalist for many years. And
she was. That's 100% real, as far as I can tell.
I saw a lot of stuff. I wasn't fully awake back then, but there was a lot of things that I saw and heard that gave me great pause. And now I focus on exposing child trafficking.
Oh my God. This drives me insane when QAnoners call themselves child trafficking like auditors or journalists or whatever. This is just painful. You know, the people who really focus on CSA and child trafficking and stuff, there are real organizations that do this in the United States and elsewhere. And they have formally requested that QAnoners stop reporting this because it is literally like it's making their job harder and it's not turning up anything of value. Like people mass reporting Hillary Clinton as a child trafficker or whatever. That is burning through resources that we don't have that much of. These people are shameless, man.
I focus a lot on exposing the pedophilia problem in Hollywood. Like pedophilia, Satan worship, that's rampant in Hollywood. Back when you were...
I'll take literally any evidence, anything. She has nothing.
A huge child actor. Did you hear anything? Did you hear stories? Did you see people, back then pushing, the satanic agenda?
No.
Or did we not witness any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, right. Because Kirk Cameron was in the acting sphere, growing pains back in the 80s, right, or whatever. Thing is, I think I've seen this before, and I don't believe that he says that he saw anything, but there really are people in the writing and directing worlds that really do take advantage of children in weird ways. Like, what the hell is the name of that guy that directed iCarly and those other TV shows famously? Sam and Cat, maybe? What was his name? The guy who... Dan Snyder, that's it. Couldn't remember. He's about as creepy as they come. And he kept finding opportunities to, like, get them to do things with their feet, weirdly. Like, disgustingly. So there's definitely a problem of weirdos in Hollywood, but it's not just Hollywood, it's weirdos literally everywhere. No demographic is safe from weird little nutcases that need to be reported to the police. Jehovah's Witnesses, Catholics, they're not more prone to having people that take advantage of kids in their ranks. Hollywood's not more prone to that. Every demographic has this problem. It's just, are Catholics reporting it? Or are they moving them from parish to parish to protect them from prosecution? Are Jehovah's Witnesses modifying their policy to report it to the police? Or are they going all the way to the Supreme Court, if possible, to fight the ruling that they have to turn over names of people who have taken advantage of kids over the years? That's the problem. It's how you handle it. There isn't some big problem in Hollywood where nobody is like turning these people in or whatever. I can't help but notice, though. I mean, that happens, of course. Harvey Weinstein, I don't know about kids, but he took advantage of a lot of people. Bill Cosby, of course. Dan Snyder. Again, not necessarily kids, but women. They're abusers, right? But it isn't like uniquely bad. It isn't like a cabal that's operating behind the scenes to like traffic kids from here to Texas or whatever. That's just not happening. So Kirk Cameron was asked, did you see evidence of this in like the 80s?
Did we not witness any of that stuff?
I didn't really witness that stuff
Mhm.
per se in the specific terms that you're talking about right now.
In the specific terms, right?
I'm sure, look, evil has been around since the earth has existed. We go back to the Garden of Eden. And so
It is so stupid, dude.
I think that, yes, this stuff is real.
Yes, I think this stuff is real, but the point is, he can't attest to any of it. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't like make all kinds of absurd claims about how they were, he knew about all these people doing this stuff and he just couldn't turn them in, just couldn't manage to do it. Anyway, Liz Crokin is absolutely insane, and I can't believe that Benny Johnson would have such a person on. The sphere of right-wing influencers has fully been taken over by QAnon at this point.
What it does is that the deep state, the members of the cabal, whatever you want to call them, because they're Satanists, and this isn't what I believe, but this is what they believe.
Absolutely wild, man. Tell me what you think in the comments.